Imagine waking up one morning and turning on the news. The headlines read, "The United States has just built the first city on the moon." How would this change life on Earth? From global power shifts to the daily struggles of living in space, this one decision could reshape the future of humanity. Let's explore what would really happen if America became the first nation to build a city on the moon. The announcement that shook the world. It begins like any ordinary morning in America. People are sipping coffee, scrolling through their phones, and tuning into the morning news. But suddenly, every channel, every headline, every push notification lights up with the same shocking announcement. The United States has officially built the first permanent city on the moon. At first, disbelief spreads across living rooms, offices, and classrooms. Was this a joke? A publicity stunt? But as the president steps onto the podium, with the NASA administrator by their side, the truth sinks in. Behind them, massive screens display breathtaking images, shining white domes on the lunar surface, solar panels glittering in the sunlight, and the American flag standing proudly against the black sky. The first moon city is real. The reaction is immediate and electric. In New York City, crowds gather in Times Square, eyes locked on the giant screens, cheering and waving American flags. In classrooms across the country, children stare wide-eyed at their teachers, whispering, "Will we be able to live there someday?" On social media, hashtags like #MoonCityUSA and #NewFrontier explode within minutes, trending globally. For older generations, the moment feels like history repeating itself. They remember the 1969 moon landing, when Neil Armstrong took that famous first step. But this is bigger. This isn't just a visit. This is settlement. This is permanence. For many Americans, pride swells in their chest, the feeling that once again, the United States has pushed the boundaries of what humanity can achieve. Yet, not everyone celebrates without hesitation. Some wonder how much it cost, whether it was worth billions of taxpayer dollars, and what it means for problems still unsolved on Earth. Reporters demand answers. How many people will live there? How safe is it? Will ordinary citizens ever get a chance to visit? Still, the excitement overpowers the doubts. In coffee shops, people talk about job opportunities in lunar construction. Tech companies release statements about how they will support the moon economy. Airlines tease future space tourism flights. Children write in their notebooks, "When I grow up, I want to be a moon engineer." Outside the US, the world watches in awe and jealousy. News anchors in China, Russia, and Europe call it the dawn of a new space race. Governments issue statements congratulating America, while secretly vowing to catch up. Overnight, the balance of global power shifts, not on Earth, but beyond it. And for the first Americans chosen to live in this city, astronauts, engineers, scientists, it is the start of a new life. They leave their families, their blue skies, their oceans, to live under domes of glass and steel on a world where Earth always hangs above them like a distant, glowing memory. This single announcement doesn't just mark a milestone in science. It sparks a revolution in imagination. For every American, young or old, rich or poor, one question echoes louder than all the rest. What happens next? Life inside America's moon city. Step inside the first American city on the moon. At first glance, it doesn't look like a city you'd recognize on Earth. There are no skyscrapers, no highways, no endless traffic. Instead, giant dome-shaped habitats rise from the gray lunar soil, glowing softly under the harsh sunlight. These domes hold carefully controlled atmospheres where oxygen is produced, temperatures are stabilized, and gravity, well, gravity is still just one-sixth of Earth's. Everyday life here is both ordinary and extraordinary. Inside the domes, people walk through narrow corridors connecting living quarters, hydroponic farms, laboratories, and recreation centers. The sound of air filters hums constantly in the background, reminding residents that survival depends on machines working 24/7. Outside the protective walls, the moon is a silent, airless desert. But inside, Americans try to create a sense of home. Imagine a child waking up in the morning. Instead of running outside to a backyard, they press their face against a reinforced glass panel and stare at Earth, hanging blue and beautiful in the black sky. Breakfast comes from hydroponic farms, leafy greens grown under LED lights, fruits genetically engineered to thrive in low gravity. Every bite is a miracle of science. Water is recycled endlessly, purified from showers, sinks, even the air. Waste is not garbage here. It's a resource carefully reused to sustain life. Working life is unlike anything on Earth. Engineers climb ladders in low gravity, floating slightly with each step. Construction workers in pressurized suits venture outside to expand the dome or repair solar panels. Scientists study moon rocks and ice deposits, while doctors monitor the strange effects of low gravity on human bones and muscles. Even something as simple as taking a walk requires training. If you push too hard with your foot, you might float higher than expected and stumble awkwardly. Children, though, adapt fastest. They bounce around joyfully, inventing new games that are impossible back on Earth. Entertainment has a new meaning, too. Movie nights are organized in common halls, with projectors displaying Earth films against curved dome walls. Sports are reinvented. Basketball is now a game of floating leaps and slow-motion dunks. Families gather for community meals, sharing stories and keeping alive the traditions they brought from home. American culture thrives in this alien environment. Jazz concerts, 4th of July celebrations, even small parades where tiny American flags wave proudly under the dome lights. But life here is not without challenges. Residents often struggle with isolation, knowing they are 238,000 miles away from Earth. Communication with loved ones is delayed by seconds, and sometimes technical glitches make calls impossible. There is no sky filled with clouds or birdsong to comfort them, only the eternal blackness outside. Mental health becomes just as important as physical survival. Psychologists organize group sessions, encouraging residents to share their feelings and fears. Still, despite the hardships, there's a sense of pride and unity. Every resident knows they are part of something bigger, the first generation of Moon citizens. For the children born here, Earth may feel like a distant dream, while the Moon is home. And for the United States, this city is more than an experiment. It is proof that America can build life where none existed before, transforming barren rock into a living frontier. America's new power and global rivalries. Back on Earth, the world is reeling from America's bold achievement. In Washington, D.C., the U.S. Capitol glows with pride as lawmakers declare that the Moon City is not just a scientific triumph, but a strategic stronghold. The United States now controls the most valuable resource in space, lunar water ice. Hidden deep in craters, this frozen treasure can be converted into drinking water, breathable oxygen, and even rocket fuel. Whoever controls it controls the future of space travel. And now, it belongs to America. Almost overnight, global politics change. In Beijing, China's leaders gather in urgent meetings, realizing they have fallen behind in the new space race. Russia issues fiery statements, accusing the U.S. of trying to colonize outer space and demanding shared ownership of the Moon. The European Union calls for international agreements, warning that space cannot belong to a single nation. Yet, While others talk, America already acts. With supply lines, lunar bases, and citizens living permanently on the moon, the United States has established dominance no treaty can erase. The Moon City quickly becomes more than a home. It is a launch pad for power. American companies secure contracts to mine lunar minerals like titanium and rare earth elements, fueling the economy back on Earth. The city doubles as a military outpost, with satellites and defense systems watching over Earth from above. Rumors swirl that the U.S. military is developing lunar command centers capable of controlling weapons in orbit. Whether true or not, the idea alone shakes rivals to their core. The global reaction is a mix of admiration and fear. News broadcasts across the world debate the future. Is America ushering in a new age of exploration or a new era of domination? Citizens in other countries feel both inspired and threatened. Social media fills with heated arguments. Some hail the U.S. as pioneers of humanity. Others accuse them of building an empire beyond Earth, leaving the rest of the world behind. Inside the Moon City, Americans feel the weight of this new reality. They know they are not just living for themselves, but representing their entire nation. Each time astronauts and engineers step outside the dome, cameras broadcast their every move back to Earth. Every scientific discovery, every successful launch, every flag planted into lunar soil is a symbol of U.S. power. The world is watching, and history is being written in real time. But power comes with risks. Intelligence reports warn of rival nations secretly building their own lunar projects, desperate to catch up. The United Nations holds emergency sessions debating whether space should be declared the common heritage of humanity. Yet, enforcement is impossible. On the barren, silent moon, there are no borders, no police, no international courts, only the flags you can plant and the cities you can build. For the United States, the Moon City becomes what aircraft carriers once were, the ultimate tool of dominance. Just as the seas once defined empires, now the stars begin to do the same. And for every American back home, one truth feels undeniable. Their country has claimed the high ground of the future. Everyday challenges and human stories. For all its grandeur, America's Moon City is not an easy place to live. Behind the glowing domes and patriotic celebrations lies a reality filled with constant struggle. Life here is fragile, balanced on the edge of survival. Every sip of water, every breath of air, every bite of food comes from careful recycling and engineering. There are no endless rivers, no rain to fill reservoirs, no forests to purify the air. Everything must be managed, measured, and monitored. Water is the most precious resource. A single mistake in recycling systems could threaten the entire community. Engineers work day and night to ensure filtration plants keep running. Oxygen is generated by splitting water molecules, a process so delicate that even a minor glitch could spell disaster. Residents learn quickly. Nothing can be wasted. Every drop counts. Every exhale, every shower, even sweat is collected and reused. On the moon, survival is not a right. It's a responsibility. Food brings its own challenges. Hydroponic farms grow lettuce, tomatoes, beans, and a few fruits under artificial light. It's fresh and nutritious, but repetitive. Many residents miss the simple pleasures of Earth, biting into a crisp apple from an orchard, tasting salty ocean air while eating seafood, or sharing a backyard barbecue with friends. Restaurants in the Moon City try to recreate Earth's flavors, but nothing truly replaces home. Children dream about Earth's ice cream, while adults long for a glass of real wine. Then come the dangers of isolation. Residents live 238,000 miles away from their loved ones, separated by distance and silence. Communication delays make phone calls awkward, with noticeable pauses before voices answer. Sometimes the network drops completely, leaving families staring at frozen screens. Parents cry quietly when birthdays pass without hugs from E. Earth couples struggle with the strain of separation, wondering whether to stay on the moon or return to the planet below. Even the environment itself feels alien. There are no sunsets, no waves, no birdsong, only endless gray dust and a sky filled with stars that never twinkle. Children raised here ask their parents what rain feels like or why people on Earth talk about the smell of grass. For them, Earth becomes almost mythical, a paradise they've only seen from afar. And yet, amidst the hardships, something remarkable happens. People grow closer. In small communities, bonds are strong. Neighbors help one another, sharing laughter during group dinners, celebrating holidays with improvised decorations, and comforting each other during blackouts. In one memorable incident, when a power failure caused oxygen levels to drop for several hours, families huddled together in emergency shelters. Fear was thick, but so was unity. When systems came back online, cheers echoed through the dome, and for a moment, everyone felt like family. Mental health support becomes a lifeline. Psychologists host group sessions where residents share their fears, hopes, and homesickness. Art and music flourish as outlets for expression. Children paint glowing pictures of Earth, while adults compose songs about the longing for oceans and skies. These struggles forge resilience. Every hardship endured is a reminder that they are pioneers, carrying forward the same spirit that once drove settlers across America's wild frontiers. For those who call it home, the Moon City is not just a place of survival. It's a place of courage, sacrifice, and an unshakable belief that they are building a future bigger than themselves, the future beyond the moon. With the first American city firmly established on the moon, the question naturally shifts: what comes next? For the United States, the moon is not the final destination. It is the first stepping stone to the stars. The lunar city becomes more than a settlement. It becomes a launch pad, a gateway for humanity's expansion deeper into the solar system. From mission control on Earth, scientists and engineers now operate with a new confidence. Rockets no longer need to fight against Earth's heavy gravity for every launch. Instead, fuel made from lunar ice powers spacecraft from the moon itself, making long-distance space travel cheaper and more practical. The city quickly evolves into a spaceport, with docking bays where ships prepare for journeys to Mars, asteroids, and beyond. Americans living on the moon watch history unfold as the first deep space missions depart, not from Florida's Kennedy Space Center, but from their own lunar backyard. For ordinary citizens back on Earth, the Moon City becomes a symbol of possibility. Children dream of becoming lunar farmers, engineers, or teachers. Schools introduce space history as a core subject, with the Moon City celebrated as America's proudest achievement of the 21st century. Tourists save for a chance to visit, though tickets remain limited to the wealthy at first. Yet hope grows that someday lunar vacations will be as common as flights across the Atlantic. Meanwhile, debates intensify on Earth. Critics argue that America is investing in space, while problems like poverty, climate change, and inequality remain unresolved. Supporters counter that the Moon City provides solutions, new technologies for clean energy, recycling, and sustainable living that could be applied back home. Politicians clash in fiery speeches, but one truth remains unshaken. The U.S. has opened a door humanity can know love. Gear close. On the moon itself, life continues to evolve. Children born under lunar gravity grow taller and leaner, their bodies adapting in ways scientists never predicted. these moon-born Americans develop a culture of their own, still proud of their flag, still singing the national anthem, but with a perspective shaped by Earth always hanging above them, distant yet ever present. Some even begin to wonder, are they still Earthlings or something new? A generation between worlds. And then comes the next great leap. After years of preparation, the first manned mission to Mars launches from the Moon City. Residents gather under the dome, eyes glued to giant screens as the rocket ignites and rises slowly into the black sky. Cheers erupt, tears flow, and for a moment, humanity feels united. Even rivals on Earth pause their arguments to watch history in motion. The Moon City has fulfilled its purpose to make the impossible possible. In the end, the American city on the moon is more than a triumph of technology or politics. It is a story about courage, vision, and the endless hunger to explore. It marks the moment humanity left its cradle and began walking among the stars. And at the center of it all, one truth shines brightest. For now, the stars and stripes wave proudly on the moon, a symbol of a new era, an era not just for America, but for all of humankind.